Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you with an epic of epicness figure review. Today we are going over the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Earth -1 Batman Devastator. This is from the Dark Nights metal run that was done by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I never thought that I would find this bad boy out in the wild. I was so excited. Speaking of which, at the time of this recording, guys, if you want to pick this up, I checked the normal online places, Big Bad Toy Store, Dorkside, and Megaopolis. Nowhere to be found. I think right now the only place that's releasing this figure set is Walmart, because this is where I found this one. But first and foremost, as I always say, check with your local comic shop and see if they can't pre-order it for you for the time that it's supposed to be mass distributed to places like that. If not, do check your local local Walmart as well. I looked on Walmart.com. This one, the Dawnbreaker, and I think the Murder Machine are all sold out right now. So it's just kind of like, oh. But they got a fresh stock in. Got this one, and he looks so flibbity-floobin' amazing. I can't wait to bust this guy out. So let's go ahead and go over the box. So you see him here, one beefcake of a character, absolutely gorgeous. And what kind of bugs me on each Batman thus far on these, it says Batman Earth -1, which is kind of cool. It shows you what universe from the Dark Multiverse it's from, but I kind of wish that they would call it what it's supposed to be. So there'd be the Devastator, the Drowned, the Red Death, Dawnbreaker, etc. so forth. So it is what it is. So just so y'all guys do know, it is called the Devastator. Then you come around here to the side, you see Batman Earth -1, McFarlane Toys. Love that multiverse. And man, these McFarlane Toys have just gotten better and better with time. Here on the back, you get a product shot. And here it says the source is from Dark Nights Metal, which is true, but this is from the one shot called it was called Dark Nights Metal Devastator. So if you guys want to check out the review on that, I will be doing one here soon. You see the figures from the wave that you can get. I'll make sure to get a close-up of that where you can check it out. You come back around here to the side. Again, I love that they make sure to say stuff like this, so when you're looking on the peg, you know which figure without having to take each one down. So that's very much appreciated that way. You go on the top, just, the top of the Devastator. Go on the bottom, all the legal mumbo-jumbo, who cares? But what we do care about here, folks, is this Devastator a cool figure or not? So let's get this behemoth out of his packaging and get a closer look at him. And here's Devastator out of the packaging. And guys, this figure is massive. Oh my goodness. Even when you pick up the packaging, you're just kind of like, oh boy, this figure has some weight on it. And I sent one of these to my friend Chris, and he told me that his, the bones here on the elbows, it was actually pushing the packaging. That's how big and just gigantua this figure is. This is definitely one you guys want in your collection. As you can see here, absolutely beautifully sculpted. And I love when a figure has weight on it. This guy could be like a paperweight. If you don't want to take him out of the packaging, just poof, right there on your bills while you're paying bills, and your bills are not going to be going anywhere. So yeah, I'm so happy that McFarlane is doing the Dark Knight Batman. The story itself, Dark Nights Metal, it was good. I just kind of was really disappointed that for the most part, these characters were pushed into the background. So yeah, I'm kind of going over the comics as well in live reviews. And it just reminds me how much fun, nonetheless, this series was. And just to see what would happen when Batman makes his bad choices. And this guy, oh man, yeah. So if you haven't seen the review I did on this figure, check it out. I'll try to make sure to remember to put a little linky poo right there. If not, then it'll come up. Things happen and you forget. But yeah, I wanted to gush over this figure on the spinner and how beautifully well done he is. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and get a closer look at Batman the Devastator. Now the Devastator doesn't come with any accessories, which I'm totally fine with. He didn't have any accessories in the comics, and just the fact that he's this big beastly figure, you don't really need anything to enhance him because he just stands on his own. However, just like all the other McFarlane DC Multiverse toys, inside his packaging he does come with a stand and a trading card, so I'll throw up a still shot of the box here in a second. And the reason I don't take the stand and the trading card out is because they are factory sealed right there on the packaging, and the only way to really get them out is to destroy that packaging, which in turn damages the value of your figure. So I'm just kind of like, no, I'm not going to do that. However, if any of y'all know any tricks on how to get those out, like whether it's heating up the plastic or whatever, let me know down in the comments. Now, I did see the back of the card, and it does read Source, Dark Nights Metal, Comics 2017, real name Bruce Wayne, height 8 feet 10 inches, weight 915 pounds. And then it says, crashing into our world from the Dark Multiverse Earth -1 comes a nightmare fusion of the only two beings capable of taking on the Man of Steel, Doomsday and Batman. The Devastator is an all-powerful creature in which the unstoppable might of Doomsday is combined with the unmatched intelligence of Batman. So that's a great sum up for anybody that doesn't really follow the Metal series, which if you have not read it, I highly suggest it. Speaking of which, the Devastator's first appearance, and it was kind of a cameo appearance, was Dark Days, the casting #1. That was just kind of like one of the preludes that led into Metal, and then they went on and did the one-shots. So if you guys want to know more about Devastator, check out the comic review we did of Batman the Devastator. It goes into his backstory, and it's kind of a rough read on what happens with Superman. So with kind of that backstory out of the way, let's look at how gorgeous this figure is. Let's go ahead and start with the face and get a focus because he's all blurry. And I just love that red paint. And I like the way they kind of dry brushed in, let it kind of spill out here onto the rocks. It looks like his eyes are glowing. So that's great stuff. And I mean, just look at the rock work on this guy and all the different color. I mean, look at the way the spikes here are kind of more of a darkish gray. And then you have the more lighter gray with the black wash. And you have all the little rocks just protruding off of his chest. And you get the Devastator logo here. That decal is really nicely done on there. And then they added all the ripped clothing. You got the Hulk ripped shirts. That's really great. Same thing with these gray rocks here on his arms. And they're not sharp, so you don't have to worry about stabbing yourself. But nonetheless, do be careful. But look at that detail. My goodness. I mean, how often do you really see a super detail sculpted figure? And one thing I always like is how, even though this is supposed to be Doomsday and it looks like him, they made sure the ears look like the cow horns. That's really cool. I like the ugliness of the teeth. That's really, really cool. I mean, look at that detailed face, the way his head's cracking there. And then the arms, the claws here. Oh, guys, this is such a detailed figure. All the redness all the way through. All the rocks on the feeties. You can get those nasty, nasty toenails. I mean, look at that, so gross. Now, one thing, if I have to kind of give any sort of negativity to this figure, as you start coming around to the back, move his hand out of the way here, is see how we have that dark gray here on the front? And then right here, it just abruptly leaps into a very whitish light gray. Now, I don't know if that was an artistic choice or if they ran out of funding and time. I kind of wish that this would have been more like a gradation where it just sort of tapers off so you can kind of start seeing some sort of differentiation there. But I can forgive that. It's not a big deal for me. I mean, he's white on the back. You can kind of see the different grays here on the arm. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to damn it for that. I think this looks great nonetheless, y'all. And I just like how those rocks just shoot off of his legs here. Great work. Great artistic sculpting and coloring and painting. And I mean, look at how they made sure this looks like, how rock layers, in the mountains when you kind of look at the different layers of rock. That is so cool. And then it just breaks off here into the back, making it look like he's just going to chip all over the place. I love the stubble rocks here across his chin. That just makes it look so epic. And then all the detail here in his chest cavity area. I mean, look at the way it bends down and then all these other rocks started protruding out of it. Oh man, this is a special figure, guys. I feel like McFarlane sort of broke the mold when he made this Devastator. Now, the articulation on this guy, I was actually surprised about, because being a big figure, you'd think that he's not going to move that much, but oh man, was I wrong. So let's go ahead and start with the head, because yeah, this head sculpt, I am just mad about this head sculpt, guys. So the mouth, I've never seen a figure that has a moving mouth like that. Now, I kind of wish, you know, in terms of paint apps, I wish they would have colored the tongue gray or something, because yeah, you can kind of see where the holes are in the back. That kind of throws it off. I don't know. But I like to kind of keep his mouth at a medium thing, because you can kind of see where the joint is right there, which I'll still forgive, because I mean, this is new to me, and that is just so awesome to see that on a hinge joint. That is so just, oh yeah, man. And then his head, get the focus since I keep moving him back and forth. He can kind of move like this, so you can get him to look up that much and about that much. There's a lot of play. I don't know what this joint's called, dumbbell or something like that. But yeah, I mean, you can get a little bit of play in there, and you know, get the side to side motion, so you're good to go there. That's pretty cool. So I like that his head moves independently of the body, so you can at least get some really good head motion there. And now the arms can go about that far out and about that high that way when you move it that way. One thing I do want to stress here, I don't know how it is with every Devastator figure, but mine, the joints were tight when I had to play with him a little bit. And then I record out here in my garage, and I have a space heater, so I kind of held him in front of the space heater for about, you know, 30 seconds, 35 seconds to kind of warm him up, and it kind of helped loosen up the joints. So you may want to do that. And then his arms spin right here at the elbow. And he has single jointed elbows, which you have to forgive because this is a giant figure, so I'm sure it'd been really hard to get double jointed going on there. His wrists do spin, so that's really cool. Now, the hand does have a joint. You just have to be careful because it's in an awkward position. See how the hand's like this? You have to kind of move him up. And then you can do that. And see, he's not completely loose. It's still kind of raw. Oh my God, ouch. Tight joints, so be careful. Like, I'm not worried about it breaking, but man, as you can see, it's tight. That's what I mean by be careful on these, because you're still gonna rack your fingers. Oh. But still, that's really cool for a giant figure. Because like I said, I have the Marvel Select Hulk, and he's nowhere as near articulated as this. Now, he does spin that much. He does have a diaphragm joint, so he can look down about that much. And about that far back, it's kind of like, wow. And then I discovered he does have a joint here at the waist, so if you grab both of them, you can get even further down, which mightily impressive. That is so cool. And then his legs, surprisingly, that far out. Kick out that much forward. You have to kind of be careful because of his pants. And about that far back. Single jointed knees, which again, you know, giant figure, have to be careful. And then his feet can go up that much. And I'm grabbing the light. And that far down, so that's cool. And he does have an interesting ankle pivot. It kind of just sort of goes inward like that, which is okay. You have to be kind of creative on how it does that. But I'm surprised for a giant figure that he does have double jointed elbows. Or, I'm sorry, ankle pivots. And then his feet do what all the rest of the multiverse figures do. And I'm glad that McFarlane's trying to make that look more natural, as were the more early ones. You can kind of see it, and it's sort of like, whatever, man. But yeah, oh, and then he also can move his legs here at the thigh. So he has a thigh cut. So, I mean, look at that, guys. When he, if you find him out in the wild, $20 figure. Well, actually, Walmart was selling them for about $15. And just look at how much articulation for a giant figure. That you're getting a whole lot of bang for your buck with this. This is a special figure. Now for some size comparisons. Here's the Devastator next to the DC Collectibles Blackest Night Atrocitus and the massive, impressive Storm Collectibles Injustice Gods Dark Side, which I will be doing a review on. Just taking my time because this guy is wonderful. But you can kind of see how he scales in comparisons. He's somewhere around 8 inches. I believe Atrocitus is 7. In Darkseid here, just kind of thinking, okay, this is 8. So that's somewhere between 10 and 11 inches right there. And oh man, I'm so glad that these companies that are releasing these figures are finally starting to think about scale. As where, back in the day, Toy Biz and all that stuff, all the figures were kind of the same size, and it was just sort of like, okay. So I'm glad that they're really starting to think about scale. So when you put these up for photography or for posing on your shelf, these guys are going to look somewhat correct, you know what I mean? And I'm so happy about this figure, and I'm excited about these two, because this one is a pain in the butt to find. So was that one. So is this one. I wish they would give us an updated Atrocitus, though, because I love this one, but he has zip articulation. If you'd like to see a review on him, let me know down in the comments, because I already did Mira. Mira's a great figure, too. Just with these, there's no articulation. This guy is articulated as craziness. So yeah, Devastator Batman. This is a special figure, guys. I saw when it was released, I was all over it, I was bugging everyone and their mom to see if they could find one for me. And just Walmart just randomly had them in stock. So I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this figure and these two as well. If you're excited for the review on this one, or if you'd like to see a review on him. As I said, we love to talk with y'all down in the comments, so let me know. Guys, this Devastator, he is a figure you want in your collection. I am absolutely blown away with the points of articulation that this behemoth of a figure has. I have the Marvel Select Hulk, and he is nowhere near as articulated as this Devastator. Oh, I was so lucky that I went to Walmart and I found this character. So if you guys see one, do not pass on it, because I came back a couple of days later and every figure from this wave was gone. So this is something special that y'all definitely want to pick up. Great sculpting, great paint apps, great decorations. The decos, like the little logo on his chest and whatnot. Just an amazing figure overall. If I had to have any kind of beef, is I wish that the back did have a little more shading like the front, but I can forgive that for the attention to detail that they really put into this figure. So, as I just said, if you guys have enjoyed this Devastator, please, first and foremost, support your local comic shop and see if they can get this in for you. If not, then you can check out online, or just, hopefully, like I did, just get lucky and maybe check out your local Walmart and see if he's there. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate it if you take a minute to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know, especially if you enjoy what we do here. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little bat bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. You can come to the channel, and we just love having a dialogue and hearing your feedback down in the comments below, or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So stand by, we got a photo slideshow coming up here at the end. And with that said, I hope y'all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.